Just let them know we're starting.
Alrighty, I think that one worked. Are we
Oh.
ready to go, guys?
Yes, I think we are.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Greetings and salutations, my wonderful freaks. I am your Uncle Necro, and I welcome you all to the Tomb of the Terrible. It's the show in which I get to lovingly assault your senses with B-movie madness.
Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to another episode of Tomb of the Terrible. I am your stand-in and your never replacement. Friday, we have Chaos, Ron, and Delphine and Ratatosker. Hey, guys.
Hello.
I have a great, powerful forehead.
How are you guys today?
Oh, I'm so ready for bed.
I had physical therapy today, so I did like 6 minutes on the little bike thing because I showed up early and they had time for me to do that for a warm-up, and then I got in 76 zone minutes according to my Fitbit, and like over 40 of them were cardio. So I'm happy with that. It's not what everybody else does, but considering it's getting me back on my feet literally, it's good. I'm worn out though. I agree.
That's good.
Red Tusker has
Tusker.
coffee to go with the donuts. His 99 so he can get really drunk and have coffee for donuts.
That works.
Run.
I want coffee for
How are
donuts.
you doing?
It's just been a long day. I got up at 4:30 this morning so I could get to work by 6, so I could get off work at 2:30 and hopefully beat the rain home. It started raining right about 2 o'clock, and somehow I managed to catch a break in the rain and got home before it started. So I did not get soaked on my way home, which is always a good thing.
Cool.
That rocks. What about you, Joshy?
Lots and lots of running in the hot.
Oh, yeah. It's way too hot here in Texas. And me, SSDD. So,
I hear that.
guys, what was your first impression of this movie?
Well, I had never seen this before, so I was pleasantly amused. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever seen, but I was expecting real shit, and it had me giggling, and I loved the donuts. They ruled. The way they moved and stuff just had me cracking up. So That was it was better than I was expecting. Is my initial impression.
Ron?
I was pleasantly surprised with a name like Attack of the Killer Donuts. I'm expecting Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and it did have a lot of that same kind of campiness in there. I was really, really, really expecting very trauma quality for this movie, and I thought that it seemed to have a marginally higher budget than most trauma movies do. It seemed to be a higher quality film overall. A lot of good, funny moments in it. Just a general fun story all around. It's like doing Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but with something different, and it's almost a completely different storyline because now you're intertwining like the personal stories of the people in the movie where you don't really get that a lot in Attack the Killer Tomatoes. So this one, I think it, without being too involved story wise, I thought it held together fairly well.
And
But you
as
guys,
usual, I forgot to ask, was this your first time watching this movie, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty. What was your first impressions?
It was interesting in some parts. Then there was a couple scenes that just broke my brain. I swear I thought that one cop was Johnny Knoxville for the first little bit of the film. I had to stop myself and look him up for a minute.
see Thomas Howell.
Yeah, in certain scenes, he at certain angles he actually really looks like an aged up Johnny Knoxville.
He's like an actor. He
Yeah.
did
I
things.
know.
He was in the
No,
Outsiders.
I'm just saying in other scenes, in certain scenes, he had that look on.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Okay. This I expected weird and silly, and I was hoping for halfway decent. And it is definitely, I would say it turned out to be one of the better films we've watched on this show. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What were the things you liked about it, Delphine?
Okay, I'm gonna give some pictures to people as we're going through and explain real quick. The movie deals with these two mostly, and that is Johnny Wentworth and Michelle, his friend from fourth grade who used to beat him up. They work at Dandy Donuts. This is their boss, Cliff. He's a total skeezy asshole. But they work at Dandy Donuts, and this is also Johnny's mom and his best friend. It starts off, and you have the crazy uncle, who you can see they did kind of a Herbert West reanimator sort of thing with him. Injects a rat, and it was dead, but he brings it back to life. And with the green stuff in there, here you see Howard and them hanging out with him, getting ready to go try to take out the donuts, and the donut it infects the donuts. They become a donut army. They can fly and do all kinds of things as they get to people. There was a great scene where they had this lady, and look at her cat, by the way, who is on her diet. This is Mrs. Scapoli, and she goes in to get her diet donut for her cheat day, and she does this in that outfit. She does a 2-minute, I think, at least, sexy dance for the donuts and her cat. And oh yeah, we also have to show Veronica, who Johnny thinks is his girlfriend because she gives him money all the time. or he gives her money all the time, even though she's with that guy. And the police officers who come in to get their free donuts. And I think I covered everybody here. So these are our cast of characters. But yeah, we laugh right now, pal. Um, oh, I almost forgot the kinky neighbors. I just had to throw them in because they were weird. So basically, it's fun. They go in. Uncle starts off Herbert West Reanimator, goes in, does the thing, goes into the donut shop because Johnny took his laptop with him, or his tablet or whatever. They said it was a tablet, but it was a laptop. And then the donuts get infected, and then people start going around and getting attacked by donuts. And I noticed that I was kind of amused that nobody ever paid for anything in the donut shop. Like, nothing, nobody ever paid. There was like a homeless guy who, well, I guess I can't guess that he's homeless, but they kind of portrayed him that way, who just sat there all day and would get donuts on his tab. And everybody else who came in got free donuts for some reason or another. Like, oh, you had to wait too long. Here, have a free donut. And then these assholes come in and they didn't deserve a picture and they harass. But the donuts get out and they go crazy. And I had so much fun watching it, and everybody is dying and stuff. And then they're breaking in to try to save Miss Scapoli because she got her. They realized that the donuts came to life and they could get her. And the kinky neighbors, like the guy is looking out all the time and it's with binoculars to check on his neighborhood. And his wife there, like, goes and she keeps coming out in these different outfits. And she's like, dressed up as a dominatrix. He's like, we're not doing dominatrix tonight. We're doing Butterfly. And she comes out again and has donuts on her head. And you're like, silly lady thinks you're doing Star Wars. And it was like, oh. But there was a lot of really bad humor, but it was funny bad humor. I wasn't too big on the fart jokes. I'm just not a fart joke person, but there were a lot of those thrown in as well. But I love the boingy noises and the sounds of the donuts. They just cracked me up. And the organizational, like, attack sequences of the donuts and the way they could do everything. And yeah, you did have all those stories included where, like, the mom is sleeping with his friend and his girlfriend isn't really his girlfriend and his friend wants to be his girlfriend. And then, there's romance and silly cops and all sorts of crazy little hijinks going on through the whole thing. So every little thing kind of had me amused. Some of it you expected, some of it, like the cops riding around on a bicycle because they lost their car to donuts, was kind of odd, but it was funny. So I overall enjoyed pretty much most of the movie. And
What
that's
about
what
you,
I got.
Rob?
This movie is basically every 1980s teenager, not necessarily coming of age movie, but growing into his own. This movie is some kind of wonderful around Killer Donuts. This movie is oh shoot, what was the one with Freddie Prinze Jr.? Essentially, the entire storyline revolves around our main character. What'd you say, Johnny?
Johnny
Yeah, Johnny.
Wentworth.
It revolves around Johnny not picking up the clues that his girlfriend is only using him for money, and that the girl that he should actually be with is the one that he's been friends with since the 4th grade. And the entire storyline of the Killer Donuts is only the vessel by which he comes to this realization and matures and figures out the truth and what he wants, and starts becoming more courageous and bold. So effectively, you could take the whole Killer Donut aspect out of this movie and you just have a straight up solid 1980s movie. But if you took the donuts out of the movie, there wouldn't be a whole hell of a lot left. and the movie'd be over in maybe about a half an hour. So yeah, the donuts are fun. They just wrapped it up in a tidy little plot that's been done before. So every single character, again, is an archetype. You've got your school bullies, you got your homeless person, you got your asshole boss, you got your over-sensualized mom, you got your pervy best friend, you got your kinky neighbors. Everybody fits a stereotype. And Johnny is completely clueless, but he's the only one that has a character shift throughout the entire movie. Everybody else pretty much stays the same, but he's the only one that actually shifts. So everybody is two-dimensional, and he's still somewhat kind of two-dimensional at the end of the movie, but you can see that he's starting to mature a little bit. So I think that the whole idea of the killer donuts and using that as the vessel to get him to that point is just a really cool idea, because it makes the whole movie that much more fun rather than just being the stagnant same movie that you've seen over and over and over again. I don't even think that they had that in some of the other movies of the same ilk, like Attack of Killer Tomatoes and Killer Sofa, which we saw before, the sofa that was enamored with the human. So yeah, I thought that this movie was pretty well done just because of the way that they handled the different storylines. And there's a lot of fun moments. Like Del says, she doesn't really care for all the fart humor and all of that, but it's so prevalent throughout movies of this nature. You almost can't have a movie without it, you know? And it's childish, it's toilet humor, but what do you expect for this kind of comedies?
Yeah.
I didn't really mind it all that much. It doesn't really bother me because there's a lot of other funny moments to sort of wrap your head around it. The whole scene with the kinky couple and the guy not really picking up the clues on what his wife was trying to throw down, or wanting to throw down. So like throw him down. And he's like, we're not doing that tonight. I thought that was pretty funny. But then at the end of the movie, they explain everything, and it's just blatant in your face rather than, the audience knows this all along. But usually it's never explicitly stated. It's for the audience to figure out, and then the story moves that way. But in this one, it's explicitly stated in case you didn't get it the first time around, which, I thought that was an interesting way to handle the script, to handle the writing. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of like that bit about it as well. So, just a lot of fun little things like that. I like the donuts too. I thought that they were really well done. They could have been, like stop action animation, but I'm not entirely certain how they did the donuts, if it was puppeteering or what, but they were really well done because it didn't look like stop action animation.
I'm betting they did it on Blender. But yeah, these are like, I love how it's a baker's dozen that's attacking as the army.
Yeah. And you got the one eclair in the background.
Yeah, and the flying donuts, like I think they probably used something like Blender to do it. It
That
looked
wouldn't
really
surprise
good.
me.
And the actors bouncing them off and whapping them and fighting them.
And the C. Thomas Howell's cop character kind of reminds me of Henry Rollins' cop character in The Chase with Christy Swanson. Kind of the tight laced up cop, no nonsense, but sort of kind of has a sense of humor, but his sense of humor is kind of off. That kind of vibe. I thought that he's kind of an asshole, but
he wasn't an over the top asshole though. Like
No,
he
he
was kind of a
wasn't.
dick, but he would chill a little bit. His partner could get and be like, just calm down, okay, but
I thought he did a really good job with that particular cop character because it wasn't like over the top where he was totally irredeemable. I don't know. There's a bunch of good stuff about it.
Friday in Chaos?
What was something you like? Well, what did you like about the movie, I should say?
Well, most of the things I liked about the movie were pretty much already covered. I really liked the the kinky neighbors. Um, my
I
brain
think blanked out.
drawn a blank. Most of the stuff I was thinking was already covered.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Everybody was generally two-dimensional, but they had enough like characters in there to make it worth watching. It was fun. They thought about a lot of the jokes that landed well for me. Some of them were just like, but yeah, definitely a good movie, a decent movie to watch. I can't abound on everything you guys have added, but yes, what were some things you didn't like, Dell and Reddit Oscar?
The thing that got me probably, and it's not like a huge thing, but it's something that I noticed that bothered other people about it as well, is that, okay, this is Johnny and Michelle, and this is Johnny's mom and Howard, that his best friend. And Johnny's mom was just like way too young, or else he was just a bit too old. I think we were supposed to interpret it that he was like they weren't just out of high school. I don't think it felt like in the beginning, he was kind of a bit of a loser who was like, they're supposed to be that way, like he works in a donut shop and lives in his mom's house and she takes care of everything for him, like she's giving him money to give to his imaginary girlfriend. And so it felt like that he was either he was too old for the casting and the rest of them were, or else she was a little bit too young. But other than that, there wasn't really much that I didn't like, you know. I mean, this wasn't gonna win Oscars, but this was a really good movie. So that was pretty much the only thing that really bugged me with it. That, and they obviously never worked in a donut shop and it was just people hanging out doing stuff, because it's one of those things where, like, if you've worked in kitchens for long enough, you look at it and you're like, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, but I wasn't going to nitpick like that. As long as you just go, it's a movie. Just let them have fun in a kitchen.
That's what I was thinking a whole lot. I'm like, dude, that is so not how you do that.
Yeah, that was the suspension of disbelief, I guess, on cooking techniques. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Ron?
Ron?
Well, you could say that about several of the things in the movie, even insofar as the what was it, uncle in the basement with the lab. His lab is I wouldn't say necessarily up to spec, and he's performing experiments on basement rats essentially, and I'm sure he's not using the cleanest of tools. My problem is that the rat bit the uncle, yet he seems completely immune to the effects of whatever it was that caused the rat to turn, to go crazy. But it caused the donuts, which are completely inanimate, to become animate, sentient objects. For bringing a rat back to life and the rat going zombified, okay, we've seen that before. That's easy enough to swallow. But how does that transfer to a donut, which was never alive to begin with and not sentient, for it to completely transform into something that has a logical sense of conscience because they organize, they line up, they have a leader, they do army formations, they attack on command, and they're communicating with each other throughout the entire movie as they move in unison. Why the donuts? We've only seen it on the rat, so why the donuts? But if you start delving too deep into that, you start thinking about the lack of science behind it and the lack of explanation, then yeah, you'll lose the enjoyment of the movie. So you can't think too deeply into this. Otherwise, what's the point of watching it? Because you're not going to enjoy it if you're constantly thinking about things like that. Why did the uncle seem uninfected when everybody else that got bit by the donuts either died or they became toxic? Like the homeless person in the back of the police car. He got sick and then, started losing it and shat himself rather putridly. And disregarding the laws of physics when it comes to explosive diarrhea, he's still wearing his pants. So he's got this constant stream of shit that's coming out of his backside. And I'm thinking, if he's still wearing pants, it would not do that. It would drip down his legs, or his pants would be soaked, or he would at least pull down his pants and scop a quat in the middle of the road and then have the explosive diarrhea. But they're showing it coming out. Like, how is it getting through the fabric like that? Like, so you can't really think about the physics or the science behind it, because then you'll completely lose the enjoyment of the movie. You just kind of got to go with it, because that's the only way. You got to focus on the funny parts, and it's supposed to be funny and not, deeply philosophical and profound. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, I think that if they had tried to put more exposition on the explanation or the science behind why the donuts turned sentient and started killing people, then you would have ruined the entire movie. You spent too much time explaining it rather than just getting to the action of the donuts killing people. Nobody cares. It's like snakes on a plane, When you see a movie called Snakes on a Plane, that's what you want to see. Snakes on a plane. You don't really care about the movie. You just want to know how the people are going to die by the snakes. That's why you go see a movie called Snakes on a Plane. So Attack of the Killer Donuts, you want to see people getting killed by donuts.
I think that the people who ate the donuts were the ones that got more infected. The other ones were just killed by the donuts.
Yeah, if you ate the donut, you got infected, but you did eventually die. Even the homeless person, that after he shat himself, he did eventually die. The cops, they got sick, but they didn't die. They were still around at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they didn't get to eat the donuts. He knocked them out before they ate them, and then the donuts went away.
But it was a great fight scene in the house with the donuts. They're making their last stand. It was like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, So yeah, don't delve too deeply into the thought behind this movie. Just watch it for the enjoyment factor.
Chaos.
I agree.
We can see you. Oh my God.
I can be seen.
Sexy man.
What did you not like about the movie, Cass?
Yes.
Probably the one thing that kind of annoyed me, and it's probably a stupid thing to get annoyed about, but that is the only donut shop I have ever seen in the several states I've lived in that has been open pretty much 24 hours.
Fair.
Never seen the all night donut shop.
I don't think I ever have either. I know they go in at like 4:00 in the morning to start making the donuts, but then again, how in the hell are they staying open 24 hours if nobody ever actually pays for a donut?
I know, right? What the hell? Because it's obvious they're working there all through the day, then all through the night until they get fired and the other guy quits.
And that's a shit ton of donuts for
And it's-
not actually working and making a donuts. You don't really see the donuts being made, but all of a sudden, and the battle scene in the donut shop, there's donuts coming from all directions. It's like, where the hell do they all come from? Did they make that many donuts?
The thing
Or
is,
did the donuts make other donuts?
you see a dozen that he pulls up out of the fryer to drip dry, and he puts a second dozen in to the fryer, and then the killer donut just starts spamming the spawn, essentially what is the spawn donut button
Right?
Yeah.
on the deep fryer. And magically, from that 24 donuts in that deep fryer comes thousands.
Yeah, but some of the donuts, they were frosted, or they had sprinkles on them, or they had decorations, or they had the
Some
the
were
cream. And it's like, how did the donuts get decorated?
Yeah, and the donuts that went into the deep fryer were your standard round donuts. And here comes eclairs and
Crullers
the
and
cream
yeah.
fields and everything just popping up out of there.
Yeah, that was definitely one lack of something I would have liked to have seen more. There wasn't a lot of donut puns in this movie, and it would have been rife for it.
I didn't think about it because it didn't happen, but I think that's a good thing.
Like, how
It
many
wasn't
donut
as
puns can you
snowy as
make?
a movie as it could have been.
Friday, what about you? What did you dislike?
The boss was a jerk. The girlfriend,
The imaginary girlfriend.
the imaginary girlfriend can just, her and the boyfriend with the supposed ankle monitor can go drive off a cliff. Monitor. And, yeah, those three guys, yeah, that was just wrong, but they had to put all the tropes in. Get all the tropes.
Yep.
It's the tropiest of all tropies.
I don't know. It wasn't the tropiest. We've seen tropier.
Yeah, they tried to go very tropey. Well,
We've
they
seen
get as
tropey.
tropey. They get as tropey as they could with the amount of people they had.
Tell me
No,
I'm wrong.
if they
We
want to go
haven't seen
true trope,
tropier.
if they want to go true trope, then they'll have a sequel to this movie that will be Amityville Donuts.
No, I went to look up this movie, and apparently Google search brought up Killer Donuts 2, as in somebody has searched this on the regular.
Killer Donuts from Outer Space.
I need to actually look into that, but apparently somebody has took the time to look up Killer Donuts 2.
Attack of the Crullers. Yeah.
The Cruller creatures. The Cruller crawlers.
Bear Claw.
I guess I'm just tired of bad characters. That's all.
The Scary
Oh.
Claires. They're scream filled.
You know, this sounds like an episode from Beetlejuice, the animated series.
Right? It does, doesn't it?
So I think I remember Scary Claire's there.
Scream filled donuts.
Exactly.
You take a bite
Okay,
and it goes, "Ah!"
Yes.
Attack of the Killer Donuts 2, Killer Cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
fan created concept for a sequel to the 2016 horror comedy.
All right, let's get to writing. We can make this happen. Yet another movie that we need to work on as writers.
Dude, there's
Add it
so
to our
many.
ever-growing list.
Yep.
We just need to start writing these things. Like, pick somebody. Okay, you're doing the sequel for this. You're doing the sequel for that, and then turn it in. Okay.
Something else that occurred to me that I was thinking about, the kinky couple. Dell, if you could put the picture back up.
Yes, sir.
That woman there would have been perfect if cast as Yeardley Smith. Could you imagine Yeardley Smith in that role?
Yeah.
Yeardley Smith is. Who's Yeardley Smith?
The voice of Bart Simpson.
Oh,
Little short lady.
Okay.
Look
you
her
know
up.
what? She would do so many things. But yeah, I really like the one who played her, though. I don't know if I missed any of the usual questions. Have I missed any of the usual questions?
Nope. We
Okay.
just kind of have a short review on this one today.
Then let's do the break and then come back and see about the recommendations of all the good things Dell found us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We'll be right back.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Hello, and we're back.
We
Now,
are.
let's find out how many eclairs everybody would like to give this movie. Delphine, how
Oh.
many eclairs would you guys give it, and would you recommend?
I would give this, I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10 eclairs. And yeah, I would recommend it. Probably not to my mom, but to like people who like just fun, goofy movies. I would definitely recommend this. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. It has some really funny stuff in it, and it's just a good time. Doesn't get
Okay.
overly gross or anything, so yeah.
Ron, how many eclairs do you give it, and would you recommend it to others?
Well, if we are talking scary Clairs with screen-filled donuts, then I think it would be more appropriate. Then I would totally go maybe a good 7 out of 10. If we're just talking regular no frills donuts, then maybe 5 out of 10, because this one's it's got all the toppings that makes it good. You know, it's not your standard plain donut. This one's got some flavor to it, so I like it for that reason, and I would definitely recommend this movie just because it's good, campy fun. If you don't think too hard into it, I might even give this movie a bear claw, because we all know bear claws are like the ultimate of donuts.
Yes.
I don't know. I like the twists.
You like the twists?
Yeah.
Okay. How many twists would you give it?
Probably give it 6.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah.
We forgot to see if Ron would recommend it. Ron, would you recommend it?
Well, I thought I said I did. That I would
Oh.
totally recommend it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, I spaced that somehow. Sorry. I'm like,
I would absolutely
Oh.
recommend this movie, especially if you like stuff like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Killer Clowns from Outer Space and that kind of campy comedy, with a little bit of gore but nothing too over the top. I think this movie was pretty well done, and oddly enough, there's not a whole hell of a lot to complain about this movie compared to some of the other ones that we've watched on here. For as trope filled as it is, it's just a fun movie.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Freddie, it looks like you have your hand through Josh's head.
Hey, look, I'm Wilson.
She's
have
grabbing
my
his brain.
arm on his back.
Okay.
That way we can both be in, because this room is too small to actually have seats in, so we're on the bed. So yeah.
Let's see how you are.
Wilson from Home Improvement.
You two need to switch places, so Josh's head will be right above Necro's beard. I'm so close, almost.
A little higher.
Closer to the camera. A little closer to the camera.
Oh.
So to fill up more. There we go. Now we're getting there. Oh, you're so close. You're slightly off. What a thought.
That's
Okay.
not what I wanted, but either way.
There you
But
go.
anyway.
That's it. You almost had it.
Almost.
That's funny.
There we go.
Oh, wait. There we go.
Is that better?
He's slightly to the right on my side.
I can't see it. It keeps my internet's being buggy, so like
He needs to move to his right. Your other right.
Yeah, that's about lined up as we're gonna get. Anyway,
I'm dyslexic here.
Yeah, well.
I give it a I think I'll give it 6 eclairs. And I would recommend it. It's one of those fun to watch movies that it's you don't give it that much brain power. You just watch it to enjoy it. So yeah,
He's still trying to light up.
Okay.
That's so close too.
So, would you like the reviews?
Yes, please.
yeah, I'd like you to do your thing because I'm like over here watching, waiting to see if he's going to figure it out. Yes, please do the reviews.
Okay. So, I got 2 from IMDb and then 2 from Amazon Prime. They're pretty short though. Nobody went on like a litany about this. Well, this is the closest. 5 out of 10. This is on IMDb by 13 Fun Bags. Sadly, one of the best movies I saw this year. This movie seems like a Roger Corman flick, just a lot better. There's basically no plot or budget or wide shots, but somehow it's still not too bad. Now, these people looked into the movie too hard. Like Ron was saying, this is what will destroy it for you. So it's about a 30-year-old man who still lives at home with his 35-year-old mom and elderly uncle. The uncle has invented a reanimation serum that can somehow reanimate things that were never animated, like donuts. We see 3 cars in this movie, and through the use of tight shot, they almost make you believe that they are on roads. But if you pay attention, it's clear they are not. At one point, they even drive through an area where there appears to be snow on the ground. Maybe they're in a cold place? Well, considering that we clearly see 2 of the 3 license plates and they are California and Florida, I doubt that. Not to be outdone, the extremely fake cop car has a plate from a different state. The donut shop is obviously an empty storefront they rented. They even make a fake soda label while turning Shasta bottles, so you can't quite read the whole label. There's just so much fun stuff. There's just so much stuff that doesn't make sense. After the stars get fired or quit the donut shop, they have no problem getting in it in the middle of the night. The girl is wearing a sleeveless rock band t-shirt like she's a 40-year-old metal fan in the 90s, and for the majority of the movie, you can see large portions of her bra. In the morning, when she wakes up after sex, not only is her bra on, but it's a different bra. I could spend all day tearing apart this movie, but I'm done. Still better than anything Cruise, Clooney, or Pitt ever did. I'm slightly disturbed by the fact that he's so focused on, he or she is so focused on the bra that they were able to recognize that the bra being worn under one shirt was not the same bra she wore in the morning.
I didn't even notice that.
So, see, this is, I don't know. That was a little, that was somebody who ruined it by trying to think too hard.
Yeah, that they delved way too far into it, which is precisely the kind of thing I warned against.
Exactly. So don't do it or else you'll feel like that person. And nobody wants to be 13 Fun Bags with this movie. Sorry, 13 Fun Bags. I'm not insulting you at all. Just being fun here. Speaking of fun, I did find that Sam Panico from BNS About Movies, who joined us for the Amityville stuff, has watched this as well. So I had to grab his. He only gave it a 4. Yeah, he only gave it a 4 out of 10. It's a pretty short one this time. Dumb Donut Fun. By no stretch of the imagination should a movie called Attack of the Killer Donuts be any good, but somehow, some way, I found myself liking this. It's definitely the best undead donut or pastry movie I've ever seen, but that said, it's also the only one. Also, I have no idea how they got C. Thomas Howell to play a cop in this, but they did. And then they also made the donuts look vaguely like vagina dentata, which is horrifying. And somehow, as bad as the effects are, I found them kind of charming. I usually hate the trauma films that are so aware of how stupid they are. But you know, sometimes I am very forgiving. This would be one of those rare times. So get a dozen and watch this with someone understanding. Thank you, Sam. We
I like the
appreciate it.
vagina dentata reference, but the center of the donut doesn't so much necessarily resemble the vagina as it does the other side.
Okay.
I would say anal dentata, maybe.
One thing, the yoga instructor or the hippie guy,
the guru,
I left him out.
The way he was acting when he got that donut home, I was expecting him to do vile things to that
I
donut.
was so happy when he didn't. I was like,
So
please,
was
please
I,
don't do
but
that. Please don't do that. Oh, thank God you didn't do that.
he pulls the stone out of his drawers, and I'm expecting
And
that
he's got a
scene to
bottle
go
of
a
lotion and
completely different direction.
yeah.
Oh, I was so glad it
Yeah, I
did.
was expecting the donut to bite him in lower extremities in the shower.
Yeah, me too.
I was so happy it didn't. Okay,
Yeah. At
going
least you
on.
had donuts and sausage for breakfast.
This one I only grabbed for two reasons: the title and the last part. It's only 2 sentences long, really. So, Amazon Prime, 5 out of 5. It gave me a yeast infection. Okay. This is customer review by Aaron. Watch this now. You will regret it. Trust me, it's horrible, but that's what makes it so good. Oh, and prep yourself for Mrs. S's cat. LOL. So we're gonna show that one again real quick. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? That cat. Because it actually does move and look like they puppeteered it just a little bit.
President who had that same freaking cat at the nursing home I worked at.
Oh my God.
Had that same little cat that every once in a while it would just randomly, its motions, it has a little motion sensor in it.
Oh.
It randomly meows and its head moves and its eyes blink randomly.
That
I think
is an
that
interesting
cat in the
fact.
still shot is probably a prop. I would say that's like a stuffed animal cat. I think they did have an actual real cat for the movie, but it was most likely a paid actor, and they didn't have it in the budget to use the cat for the whole movie, which is why they had to get a prop that looked like it.
Well, that cat was all. So it actually moves on its own. So they didn't even have to
It's a
puppeteer
little
it. It just
motion sensor cat.
okay. That's cool to know. That
That's probably where part of the $500,000 for this movie went.
Right?
The $500,000 budget went to the cat.
Okay, and time for the final review of the night. This is a customer review, 5 stars out of 5 on Amazon Prime by Clurbs. Miracle movie. Attack of the Killer Donuts not only entertains, in fact, it does this better than any movie I've watched in the last year. It actually gives life. Shyamalan's Old left me so grief-stricken over the loss of hope in humanity, I was comatose for weeks. I couldn't even bear to look at another screen after that, but the withdrawal symptoms were so bad, I literally became unconscious. The doctors had seen nothing like it. In an effort to awake me from my vegetative state, fortunately, an anonymous individual set up this movie in front of my expressionless face. As soon as the film began, life came back to me in an instant, and the nurses rushed in to take tests and such. However, being the alpha male I am, I refused these nurses' assistance and demanded they allow me finish the film in peace. Boy, am I glad I did. Attack of the Killer Donuts is a movie that I truly believe has discovered the answers universe's greatest mysteries. No summary or review can do it justice, though. I implore anyone, please, do yourself a favor and take control of your life once more. Watch Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Wow, that is some creative license with a review.
I know, right?
Hey, Clurbs is with us now, man, because of Attack of the Killer Donuts. So I will trust Clurbs, alpha male that he is. I love doing those.
You can always tell when some of these reviews are written tongue in cheek, and they're probably smirking to themselves as they're writing it.
Yeah, I couldn't find any good long ones, but that one I enjoyed. I was like, yeah, that one will work.
I like that one.
That'll work for the closer. So, okay, so we have to get right.
Wheel of Torment. Wheel of Torment. Wheel of Torment.
Wheel of Misfortune. Wheel of Misfortune.
Yep, hold on one sec. I gotta do this thing and this thing.
Wheel of Torment. Turn, turn, turn. What is the movie that we should burn?
My browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon and you're at. We'll try this again here. Oh, Wait, wrong one. Nope.
My name's in my eye.
What?
It's painful.
No. Hold on. I've got too many things open here. It's not, I have too many things going on, and it's not letting me select. There were updates to StreamYard, so forgive me if I'm having some problems here, people.
Yeah, StreamYard looks completely and totally different.
Well, come on. I have this here. Present. Share screen.
We want the wheel. We want the wheel.
It will not let me pull up the wheel.
Okay, let me see if I can.
I can link it to you. I updated it. So
Okay, if you could send it to me, that'd be great. That way I don't have to find it.
yeah, give me just 1 second. Create share link. Sorry, folks, for this brief. I'm putting it in the private chat here. There you go.
Okay, putting it over there. That'll
Yep.
work too.
It might just be my browser being a jerk. I don't know. It does that sometimes.
Okay.
It just updated too, so. Let's see if you can get
How
it up,
old
Randy.
is the PC that you're using, though?
Not that old, actually. It's a newer gaming laptop.
Okay.
Oh, you got it.
There we go. So we got 6 movies on the wheel.
All right.
Okay, are you ready with the thing?
Yes, I've got the sound. Are you ready?
Click, click, done.
Yes, I am. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Whee!
There's
nothing out there.
There's nothing out there.
Okay.
And let's see if that is.
Now, is it to be?
I think that is on Tubi because I have a feeling I passed it when I was looking for this movie.
There's no results for that on oh. What I put. It appears to be, yes, it is to be Prime, Fossum, and Plex.
All right.
Okay.
So we shall reconvene in 2 weeks to discuss whether or not there's nothing out there.
Yep. Let me add
My
it
guess is
in.
that there's nothing out there.
Probably not.
Is this an alien movie?
Yes. No.
A horror movie junkie thinks that he has what it takes to save his pals when some nasty aliens drop by and interrupt the teen celebration.
All right.
Mine says something about huge mutant frogs. But it's a 90s movie, so they're like at a camp and swimming and stuff. You know.
That's what it has on Tubi. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I'm over on IMDb.
Well, we
very big hair.
We already watched Killer Frogs, and it was mostly a nature documentary.
Yes, it was, which was unfortunate. So, shall we call it a night, folks?
I think it is.
Where,
it's a night.
Okay, Del, where do you want to be found?
Look me up, Carrie, Kari Sanders, over on Facebook. If you see this is me judging you. You can find me there. You can find all of my links there that I'm actually using right now. And this week on Splash Pages, we were going to do it our usual Tuesday, but our guest has tickets for Superman. And so he's going to see that, and we're going to do the show on Wednesday. We have Mitch Halleck, the founder and amazing person behind Terrificon and CTCon, is going to be coming on so we can discuss all things Terrificon related as we are on the road to Terrificon starting on August 8th, I believe it is. Yeah, August 8th through the 10th in the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. You can get your tickets on sale now. You can check it out on Wednesday and learn about a little bit more about who's going to be there. And yeah, and I'll be around here too, doing my things and hopefully trying to write. And Friday I will be at OCon in it's the Omaha Con, but it's in the Mid America Center in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And I have a panel I will be doing with Phil Hester on Friday at 2 p.m. called "A Panel is Worth 1,000 Words," and it's about using the art and doing like silent comics and how art can take the place of the dialogue boxes and all of that. So yeah, that's me. And Rad Toss Girl just be drunk somewhere.
Ron?
I think Ratatosker is probably passed out drunk somewhere at the cons. He sort of misses, everything that goes on. Imbibement. All right, you can find me on my author page on Facebook, Ronald W. Gillespie Jr. -author. And if you communicate with that page, you're most likely communicating with Friday up there, since she is the administrator of the page. I now have a new website, which is still in its own stage of incompleteness. It's live. You can see it, rongillespiejr.com. And like the links all work. It's just there's not a lot of content on it yet. I haven't devoted a lot of time to it because we're still trying to get like the email servers and everything set up for it so I can start sending and receiving email through the server. And one of the things that we want to do is to try to set up like a Wix type page or a blog type page where you can actually log in to do all of the stuff on the front end rather than having to go through a back end like FTP or tell that into it and uploading and downloading. Use mostly Dreamweaver to create some of the page, and that will allow me to transfer the files, but it's not efficient, and I need a better way to do it, which is the reason why the page is still incomplete. So, I suspect that page will keep growing as we ramp it up and start figuring out how to do things on it and all of that. But yeah, take a look at the page, rongillespiejr.com, and also the Facebook page, Ronald W. Gillespie Jr. -author. And I haven't really been writing all that much lately. I'm still working on the pirate story and still working on the novel. I kept saying that I wanted to have at least one of them done by Halloween, but I don't think that's going to happen now either. So maybe by the end of the year, maybe the start of next year. Who knows? I just need to get back into the whole writing process. But
I hear that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I do want to get these books out though, but I'll keep doing short stories in the meantime until then.
Alrighty. What about you?
Find her.
Okay.
That works.
I'm here at Owlite. I'm at Faycore. I'm at Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, Corpse Corner Chronicles, and my author page, Jennifer Elliott. I'm trying to get back on track now that we've gotten moved and just trying to figure out how life works now in our new place and everything that's happening. So new ads are going up of stories that I'm finding through Faycore, and I'm going to try to get back to making TikToks and things. As for my next shows, I know that On the 30th, we have James Angle, the Haunter. And he is from Canton, Ohio. He works at Factory of Terror Haunted House. Definitely go check them out when we finally get back to haunting season. And I'm not sure who we have next. I do know John Ferguson has agreed from Hell's Dungeon to be one of our next guests. So hopefully next Wednesday we will have his interview up. And other than that, I'm hoping to get more authors and either read more scary stories or delve more into understanding what happens around death and the death industry. Until then, please keep reading all of our stuff. Please keep watching Splash Pages and everything the Dorkening. And don't forget to come back and check out what we're doing.
And spay and neuter your friends.
Like, subscribe.
I know for a fact 2 of us have been spayed, so we're good in this chat. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Good night.
Have a good night.
Oh yeah.
Happy trails to you.
Sure we did.
Till we meet again.